Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, all these years we thought we were buying American-made vehicles, and most of them are. But what if I told you there are Korean and Japanese cars that are far more American than your average Ford, Chevy, and Dodge? Let's get into it. Over at Cars.com, they have this 2023 American-made index. Which cars are the most American? If you're excited for this is a lot of fun for me today. But if you're as excited as I am, smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe for more industry auto news and updates. And this is the fourth time in 18 years that Cars.com has come up with an American-made index, where they rank and qualify vehicles built and bought in the United States for 2023. And they judge these vehicles on 5 criteria: assembly location, parts content, engine origin, transmission origin, and U.S. manufacturing workforce. Cars.com vetted 388 vehicles, but only the top 100 made the index. Let's take a look at the areas where the most American-made vehicles are made here in America, and also includes parts from Canada. Keep that in mind. Canada is kind of an extension of the United States in a lot of ways. All those Teslas made in California, as well as now in Texas. You also have in Ohio the RDX and the MDX from Acura. And down in Alabama, where you have the large platform vehicles from Honda. I just reviewed the Pilot. Make sure to check out that. And also new on the list, and maybe for the first time ever, we have a Volkswagen that is one of the most American cars ever made, coming at number 6 on the list. So let's get into the rankings here, guys. This is really going to blow everyone's minds here. The top 4 cars are from Tesla: the Model Y, 3, Model X, and Model S. That's all the models they have. Every single one of them are the most American-made cars you can get, at least according to this index. And they don't go through the full criteria on how they grade these cars, but the labor and the parts contents outpace everyone else on this list today. But the battery minerals is something altogether. Where's all the lithium coming from? The cobalt, the manganese, the nickel? I guarantee you most of it's not coming from the United States. So keep that in mind when you're looking at these electric vehicles. Yes, they're assembled here. Yes, a lot of their drivetrains, transmissions, right? It's all kind of built into one. They're all manufactured here in the United States or Canada, but those battery minerals is a big question mark for me. The Honda Passport is the most American-made non-electric vehicle. And then right behind it is the Volkswagen ID4, since they started making them here in Tennessee. The Odyssey from Honda as well comes in on the list at number 7. Then after the ID4, it's an onslaught of Honda and Acuras: Odyssey, MDX, Ridgeline, RDX, Accord. Then we have our first Toyota on the list with the Tundra, made in San Antonio. When I was editing it, it just dawned on me that literally the Toyota Tundra is more American than Ford, Chevy, and Dodge. Or you should have said Ram, because there's no more Dodge trucks or Ram trucks, right? So isn't that something? And even the Sequoia is more American than the Suburbans, the Tahoes, Escalades, and Grand Wagoneers. Something to think about. We've been wrong for all these years buying Ford, Chevy, and Dodge pickup trucks, but lo and behold, the Toyota Tundra and its SUV variant, the Sequoia, are more American. Also, another manufacturer that's going to be probably more American is Rivian. It's just that they're disqualified on this list because their GVWR is so high, over 8,500 pounds, that they're technically a heavy-duty vehicle. And that's why you don't see Ford F-350s or F-250s on this list, or 2,500s from Chevy, etc. Then back to Acura with the Integra, TLX, Pilot. Then our first American car that runs not on batteries and electrification is the Lincoln Corsair from Ford. Then we have our first Korean on the list, coming at 17 with the K5. That's made in Georgia. Then we have our next Toyota on the list, which is a Sequoia Hybrid. Keep that in mind. That's also built in the same plant as the pickup truck, the Tundra, in San Antonio. Then our first sports car from Chevy. Chevy's now on the list at number 19 with the Corvette. Then we have our first Nissan on the list, the Pathfinder. Guess what? The Pathfinder also has the same bones as the Infiniti QX60, so that's right behind it. Durango's the first Mopar product on the list, and then we have the Toyota Highlander right behind that. We have another Kia, also built in Georgia, alongside the K5. That's coming on the list in the top 25, and then Jeep rounding out the top 25 here with the Wrangler. But tricky thing with the Wrangler is if you want an ICE vehicle and you live in one of the CARB states or ZEV states, you actually have to special order it because Stellantis stopped sending gas models there. You can only get plug-in hybrid models there unless you special order them, which is pretty crazy. Anyways, moving on, Camry coming in at 26, built in Kentucky. Jeep Gladiator, very similar to the Wrangler, right behind it. Our first Ram on the list at 1,500. Then our first Hyundai on the list. So sister company Kia has more American-made vehicles than Hyundai, but Santa Fe, all these vehicles on this list are manufactured here in North America, specifically the United States, if not Canada. So keep that in mind. Wrangler 4xe, Santa Cruz, then a bunch of the Jeep Wagoneer models, Sienna that I just reviewed on the channel, Lexus ES, our first Lexus on the list, but this is going to go back to Japan here pretty soon for the next generation, the next couple of years. Kia Sorento on the list, which shares a lot with the Santa Fe, that ranks ahead of it. And then we have the Ford Lightning and the Explorer, so electrified options from Ford coming in on the list. Now I'm just going to slowly scroll through this list. Feel free to pause at any given point in time. There are some exclusions that we'll go over in a little bit. It's just really impressive that so many of Honda vehicles are super American made. The Teslas are very, very American made, at least according to this index. Let me know if there are any surprises for you guys. If you know Honda, even though they're a Japanese brand, they make all of their vehicles here in North America, whether that's Mexico with the HR-V, the United States, or Canada. So they're very much a North American brand, at least for the models we get here. There's only one model that I'm aware of from Honda that comes from Japan, and that's the super low volume FL5 Civic Type R. There are a lot of American-made cars that were disqualified on this list as well due to these stipulations. So if you want to read into why they're disqualified, go ahead, pause so you can read into this. And they make a good point here. Remember that they tested 388 vehicles. So even though the Rogue comes in at 100 on the index, it beats out 288 other models that are available for sale here in the United States as being more American made. And first half sales are coming in, so I want to talk about Tesla real quick, and we can also dust on Honda because Honda has just communicated their first half sales as well. So let's talk about these two most American made manufacturers here in the United States and how they're doing so far in 2023. Well, we know Tesla is still growing incredibly fast. Their shares jumped 6% on Monday due to this announcement that they have beat their expectations in sales. Tesla delivered 466 plus thousand vehicles in the second quarter, April to June, up 10% from the preceding quarter and 83% higher from a year earlier. Guys, they're almost doubling their sales quarter over quarter. A large part of this is due to their price cuts that started flowing in at the beginning of this year and the end of last year. And Honda had a really rough 2022. Their volume dropped out of the sky. Things are looking completely different here in 2023 for them. They have lots of highlights here. They've had 4 straight months of year-over-year growth. So we're going to break down their sales real quick. If you don't have your snacks and drinks, maybe go ahead and do that. We'll spend a few minutes here. And we're going to focus on month-over-month change. And it looks like the DSR, their daily selling rate, is exactly the same. They had just as many selling days this year or this month of June compared to the last month of June. So Honda up 57% in the month of June, which is way higher than the first 6 months combined, which is only 25%. So their guns blazing into the second half of this year, it looks like. Acura's light trucks up about 95%, their cars up about 65%, and then Honda's car and light truck sales or crossovers are probably around 55% combined. So the Accord, the new Accord, I just saw one yesterday in white. I still think it's the most generic looking sedan on the market. It seems to be working for them because sales are up in the month of June, 68% and 24% on the year so far. Civic, finally, they're getting some relief here. The Civic was beat down bad last year with a lack of supply. Up 65% on the month, up 33% on the year. CR-V is going through kind of a lull here, up 36%, still doing good, but it's up 40% looking at the whole year. For the HR-V, they're finally getting this new generation, the second generation boosted, based out of that Celaya plant in Mexico. So that's great to see this finally increasing, because if you look, they're up 57% on the month, but if you look at the full year, they're still down 26% compared to last year, but that should be turning around as we head into the second half here. Odyssey up 92%, People need minivans, especially with DVD players, because no one's offering that anymore other than Honda and maybe Chrysler. But anyways, I've never reviewed a Pacifica. So Odyssey up 90+% on the year. That's incredible. Even though it's old as heck, there's a new one around the corner. Hopefully we get a redesigned one by the end of this year. There's spy shots going around, but it's really nothing to talk about because it's just a bumper situation going on where they just camouflage the bumpers. So they might just keep the body the same. We need a hybrid powertrain. That would be amazing so we can keep up with the Sienna. Anyways, Pilot up 86% with the new generation. Check out my Pilot review. For the month of June, up 20% on the year. And then Ridgeline up 58% on the month, up 38% on the year. So really, overall, the month of June is guns blazing for them. They're up 54% on the month of June for Honda and up 23% on the year. So they're accelerating in the second half of this year. Acura up to 83%, absolutely insane. Only up about 40% on the year so far, but they're picking up steam. ILX, rest in peace. Integra's up 75%, but remember, it was still in pretty low volume compared to last year because it was just starting production then. So that's kind of an outlier there. But they've sold 16,500 so far in the year of 2023, which is outselling the ILX, I think, even in its best years. If we look at the TLX, up about 89%, I think a huge portion of these TLXs are also the Type S's. I wish that they broke down Type S for the MDX TLX and now the Integra. MDX up 100% on the month, up 35% on the year, and RDX finally getting some improvement here. Had a terrible, same thing in the TLX. Both of them had terrible 2022s. And RDX up about 90% on the month, only up about 10% on the year. So they're finally getting that springboard they need for the second half of the year. I'm going to end it there for the most American-made cars, Honda and Tesla, kicking butt and taking names. But thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one. Have a great day and peace.